Hello, today is the 24th of May 2025. I'm very looking forward to making this video because it often really helps me to speak and to make videos, and today especially I've just been feeling like I don't want to be too stuck in my mind, so I'd like to speak it aloud because that usually helps me to clear my mind more. So let's start with 2 days ago. I had a call with one of the producers in Dublin that I'm working with, but I haven't heard anything from them in months, and that's why I kind of stopped writing scenes and working on that project as much as I did usually, and I kind of stopped anyway. Like when we moved here to Spain, I barely wrote anything because I had so much to do, kind of, when me and Amy lived here from September until December. And then I never really got into it because they didn't contact me anymore, they didn't give me any updates, so I kind of just stopped. And before that already, I kind of, didn't enjoy it as much anymore as I would have liked to. So I'd say the last year or 1.5 years I haven't written that many scenes, and I haven't been into it as much as I really was at the beginning when I started working with them. So yeah, but basically now on Thursday we had like an update call, and the message of the call was basically she asked me to like get back into writing and continue, even if it's just like an hour a week. And even if in that hour I've only written 2 sentences or 200 sentences, like it doesn't matter. At least I'm still writing and I'm still making a few steps like forward and making the project kind of progress. So the call itself was very nice. I really liked getting to know her better because I've actually never spoken to her one-on-one. And she was so friendly and she complimented my project in so many different ways. Like, she said that it's so different from like any of the other projects she has come in contact with. Like, she's in college, for example, and each college student needs to have like a few sample projects basically, and mine was the only one from that area, and everyone was like so interested in it and was like asking how is it continuing, like how does it continue, like what's gonna happen next. She said that she really loves how being able to visualize what I'm writing, that she said I'm very like visual with my writing. It's as if she's there like in the story as well while it's happening. And she really complimented me and said like I really have a way with words and that I'm really like able to express myself through words and that not many people can do that. Yeah, she said she's so interested to like see more of my writings and see how it like continues. And yeah, she said I should see myself as an emerging writer. Like, she said I can already call myself a writer, which I didn't know, and that was kind of nice. Like, I'm a writer, wow. And she said, that I should just see myself as an emerging writer, and I should be kind to myself and not be a perfectionist about this, because you know, there is such things as writer's block, and sometimes you love what you wrote, other times you just feel uninspired and feel like there's nothing happening, and all of that is like part of the process. And even though the call was like so lovely and I feel like we kind of connected not just on like a work level but also on kind of a personal level, even though that was all so nice, I kind of felt like a bit disheartened when like the message of the call was to get me back onto like writing basically, because first of all, like, I'm not being paid for my writing yet, because we need funding for the project before they can pay me. So I would be doing that for free, which I always was completely okay with because I knew I wasn't doing it for the money. I knew I was doing it for myself because I loved it so much and I wanted to help people. through this, and I never expected any money, and I had so much joy while writing and creating this world out of words. It just fulfilled something like so deeply inside of me that like I really didn't expect anything from it. I just loved doing it. And the thing is, I was just kind of like scared that I wouldn't be able to enjoy it anymore, basically. That was my fear. I was afraid that I would feel like, oh, I have to write, I have to do something, because I have to now send her something, like, or like, you know, I was scared of that I was going to brood about it and constantly tell myself, oh, you still need to do that, you still need to work on it, but then like not feel any joy at all, or not want to do it, or feel like really uninspired. Because like at the beginning when I started working with them, it was so fulfilling writing and creating this project, and it was like I knew that was what I wanted to do with my life, basically, like make a film, make a series. Like I loved it so much, like out of my own life experiences and based on my diary, basically, and it was like so amazing all around. It just, I felt so fulfilled. Then this whole drama with the family happened, and I kind of got afraid that my project as well would just kind of be taken away from me, or that I wouldn't be able to enjoy it anymore, or like I kind of got afraid of that as well. So then I had writer's block, for example. I felt like I have to go and do it, I have to go write, and it was like as if I built up this shield to really protect myself from being disappointed in case it didn't work out. But by building up this shield, I really kept myself from feeling joy and actually enjoying what I was doing. So, and this happened like mid 2023. So that's like 2 years ago. And since then, like, yeah, this joy of it just hasn't really come back properly. Also because like I said, for many months in between they just didn't contact me, and I haven't heard anything from them since the end of last year. So that's like, again, 5 months, 6 months, like, you know, that just went by. Yeah, although I know I can enjoy it again, and I know I can love it, and I can feel fulfilled while doing it because it's my own thing and stuff like that. But again, I'm then afraid that like my perfectionism is gonna kick in, and that when I'm writing I'll be like so overwhelmed, because I'll be like, no, but that's not exactly the way it was, or there's so many other things that happened as well and that's important. Or I'll be like, oh no, I'm way too focused on the negative, I should also focus on the positive, and what if this doesn't really describe the way it truly was for me? You know, that sort of perfectionism also kept me then from enjoying it. At the beginning, I do not remember having any sort of perfectionist thoughts about this. I just did it, and I always was so proud of what I wrote. But then, yeah, at some point when this drama in the family happened and I engaged in many unhelpful thinking styles, the perfectionism grew, and that kept me from writing as well, because I was always like, no, there's no way I'm ever gonna write something perfectly to describe really and truly the way it was for me when I experienced it and stuff. So I think I just need to tell myself as well, like, it doesn't need to be perfect, and the main message will come across, even if it doesn't exactly show the way it was, like, you know, that's not necessarily needed. I just need to bring across the main message of what happened and stuff. So yeah, honestly, this whole thing then ruined my day. Well, technically this thing didn't ruin my day whatsoever, but my thoughts about it kind of ruined my day. I felt like very disheartened. I felt kind of like, a bit depressed. I felt like, oh no, there's something I have to do, and maybe I really don't want to do it, and I don't want to feel stuck, and I don't want to like have to write every week, even if it's just for an hour, but I don't want to feel like I have to do it, and stuff like that. And even though she said like there's no stress, you know, sometimes life gets busy, and like she was really, really kind about it. I can't really complain about anything she said. But it was me, myself and I, it was me who just made it seem so negative. Like, I really came off the call, and at first I was like trying to uphold the positive thoughts. I was really trying to like look at the positive side, and it did work honestly for a few minutes, but then I focused more on the negatives, and then I brooded and I went into it, and I, you know, saw so many other negative things, and then I catastrophized it so much that I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I don't know what I want to do with my life. Like, what am I doing? This is all like, you know, I have no idea what I want to do with my life. So that's how big I then blew it up, and then I felt so like not good enough, like whatever I'm doing just isn't good enough, and it's not fulfilling, and I should be doing more, and I should know what I want. And I just felt like so depleted, like, oh, I just don't know what I want to do with my life and stuff like that, even though usually I'm like, yeah, it's okay, I don't know 100% now, but there's this and this that I enjoy doing, so I'm just gonna keep doing that, you know. But in that moment, everything just seemed dark, and I really was stuck in that, like, and I really, yeah, was like believing all those thoughts. And then at some point I was just like, okay, I just need to like get out of my mind. So I like got up from whatever I was doing, and I just put on music. I walked through the house. I just, you know, sang to the music to just kind of get out of my mind for a bit. And that honestly helped a lot. And then I returned to like my computer, and I then opened one scene that I had written already months ago, and I read the first sentence and I started crying. Like, I just burst out in tears because it was so lovely. And I then remembered how beautiful it felt and how fulfilling it felt to write and to create this whole other world. And I was like, that is how I want to feel when I'm writing. That's how I want to feel about my life, that it's like in my hands and it's fulfilling, and I'm creating this beautiful piece of work, and I'm just enjoying what I'm doing, and I'm not being a perfectionist, I'm not beating myself up, I'm not thinking negatively, just feeling the beauty of it. Like, that's what I want. But then it kind of seemed like, oh yeah, maybe that's not possible, and then I don't know, yeah, but I did feel better in that moment, but still not super great. And like, really, movies, series and stuff like that, they're really my passion. Like, I've really been like admitting that to myself in the last while, because I think since my depression, and I broke out of my depression while like watching Vampire Diaries, and I was so in the series that like I completely forgot about anything that was happening in my life. I like completely dived into a different world that just wasn't mine, and that really helped me to break out of my depression, because the brooding thinking style is what held me in my depression. And when you're brooding, you're stuck in your mind basically, so you need to do something to get out of your mind. And for me, that was watching movies and series. And since then, I just have this passion for them, and I feel so comforted when watching movies. And I love being able to dive into a different world for a while that isn't mine, even when my life is beautiful, even when my life is not so nice. Either way, I just love being able to dive into a different world for a while and see a different perspective, see a different light, see, I just love movies and series. I just really love them, and it's so nice for me to admit that as well, because now I'm like, there is something I'm passionate about. I always was like, yeah, but that's nothing, like, that's just you know, most people are like passionate about some sort of sport or something that they do outside of the house or their job, and I'm like, yeah, passionate about movies. I've never thought that was like really a thing, or I thought it like shouldn't be a thing, but now I'm like, no, like I can see what a big impact they have had on my life and how much I enjoy them. So like, why not let that be my passion? Like, that's so beautiful. And my work, or what I would like to work as, is related to movies. Like, I want to make a series or a movie out of my life experiences, so like it makes sense, you know, it's all kind of related. So it got quite late then that day. Like the evening time approached. I think it was like 5 or 6 p.m. and I still felt very down, and I was like just negative about everything, and I didn't know what I wanted to do anymore. So then I was like, okay, I am driving, I am going to the waterfall park that's 2 minutes away in the car. I just packed myself a small picnic. I took my book, I took the Thrive program, I took music with me, and just drove. And I was alone there in that park, and I just laid down on a bench. Like, at first I was sitting, and then I kind of looked around at the nature, and I saw like it's so pretty and beautiful, but I just couldn't really feel it that much. But I did notice it, but I couldn't feel it. And then I just kind of like hugged myself, and I was like, I'm here, you know, and yeah, like things seem really down right now, but it's okay, you're gonna get through this. And yeah, and then I read a bit in the Thrive program, and then I put everything down, put on some music, and just laid on the bench. And then I looked up at the sky and through the trees, and after a few minutes then I kind of could feel the beauty of the nature, and I could feel like just there's nothing I have to do. It is all my choice, and it doesn't mean I'm not good enough just because I don't know 100% yet what I'm doing with my life. Like, you know, like it's all okay, and things just seem bad right now, but it's not necessarily the truth. Like, you didn't feel like this yesterday or the day before. Like, you were doing really good, like you were feeling very good and powerful. So it's really all just the thoughts you have right now, and they're not facts. So I kind of at some point just teared up and saw how beautiful everything is. And then on the drive home, that's when I really got a lot of perspective back, because on the drive home, like I said, it's just 2 minutes, but something happened in those 2 minutes where basically I noticed, okay, I am already in a blip. So I am already sitting in a hole where you basically have lost perspective, and things just seem really dark and down, and you're just not feeling good. So I was like, I am already in that hole, which means I can't see it any other way than the way I'm seeing it right now. When you're in a blip, you believe your thoughts and emotions. You see everything through them. So when you're in the blip, you can't see it any other way. It's just not possible because you don't have perspective. But that helped me to realize that I'm just not seeing the reality, because I just can't in that moment. So it helped me actually to regain perspective, because I really just noticed, like, I'm just not seeing reality right now. I'm just not, because I'm believing what is happening to me, and I'm in that blip where I've lost perspective, so I can't see reality. And then I was like, the only way I'll get out of the blip again is by coping my way through. Because I don't have perspective, it means that I'm feeling kind of lost, and I'm feeling like, oh, there's nothing I can do about it. But the only way I can then get out of it is by coping my way through. And coping my way through means being there for myself, being gentle and kind to myself, and understanding of what's going on. Like, being understanding with myself, being compassionate, and just feeling my way through and being there for myself, being my own support, basically. And that moment really changed it for me. Like that moment then, for me, like that was a big lesson, because from now on, like whenever I have blips, I can really tell myself, like, right now I'm not able to see the reality. I'm not, because I'm already in the blip, so I need to cope my way through. I need to be kind to myself in order to regain perspective and get out of this blip again. And that might take a while, but at least I know I'm not seeing the full truth. So yeah. And then, yeah, when that moment happened, I was like, then kind of felt like inspired to create a lovely evening for myself. So I was like, I'm gonna go for a really nice shower and just cleanse. I'm gonna listen to music and talk to my family for a bit, and I'm just gonna paint, because painting often as well helps me to dive into a different world, to not brood about stuff, because I need to concentrate on what I'm doing. It helps me to put the beauty that's inside of me onto like a page. And yeah, and I was like, I'm just gonna paint because I want to help myself. And I was like, I'm gonna put on a nice movie in the background and just enjoy my time, and maybe make myself some snacks to eat and just enjoy this. So that's exactly what I did, and I texted with my friend Mario for a while as well, and that really helped me, and painting really helped me, watching a nice movie, talking to my family, like it all really helped me, and I was in a much more like giddy and funny mood then, and kind of forgot about the problems I kind of thought I had. So then the next day I didn't feel as bad, and the next day was yesterday. So yesterday I didn't feel like as negative as the day before, but I'd still say I wasn't like doing the best. I was definitely doing better when I was in Ireland, and the first couple of days I was here in Spain now. I was doing better than yesterday, but not as bad as the day before. And basically yesterday then, in the morning, I felt fine. Like I, again, wasn't 100%, but I felt fine. I didn't brood too much about like needing to write a scene or needing to write, even though that was still like in the back of my mind a bit. And I'm still now trying to deal with that, and trying to be kind to myself and say like there's absolutely nothing I have to do, but maybe it'll be a lovely experience for me, and I can try it out and then still decide. But anyway, it was like in the back of my mind, but not too strong. And then I had planned yesterday to drive to an animal shelter that's like 25 minutes away from where I live, because I wanted to like hand in my CV and just see if they need any workers, see if it's a paid job or a volunteer and stuff like that. But then I saw online that I could actually ring them, so I was like, yeah, maybe I'll just ring them before I put in all the effort of driving there and then driving back, and maybe they don't even need me or want me or whatever, So I was just like, okay, I can call them. So they open at 4 p.m. So I then noticed, okay, 4 o'clock was approaching, and I would say at around 3 o'clock I got very nervous, and not like very, very nervous that like I couldn't handle it and I felt really bad, but I was quite nervous and I didn't like it. And so even before that, throughout the whole morning as well, I was in between, I was thinking like, I'm gonna ring them or I'm gonna drive there today, and I did create some anxiety by thinking about it. And I'd never driven there before, so I don't really know the drive and stuff, even though like I knew I would be able to do it. I'm able to drive. I've driven many times before, and like I always made it. So I was like, yeah, I'd be fine and stuff. But somehow like I created anxiety about it. And then I'd say like, yeah, at around 3, I then felt stuck in the anxiety because I then brooded about it. I focused on it. I wanted to get rid of it, but felt like I couldn't. So I did then watch like a video of the Thrive program, but for some reason, I'd say the last week, I feel kind of disheartened in relation to the Thrive program as well, which is so weird because it helped me so much all the time. And like, I'm still working on it a bit every day, but I'm not like, I think I might be like blaming my ups and downs on that. And being like, whenever I'm down, like, yeah, it's because I, like, didn't work enough on the Thrive program, or, like, it didn't help me, or, like, I don't know, like, it's kind of weird. I don't know exactly why I've been, like, kind of disheartened, but, yeah, I want to get back into it for sure, like, a bit more and stuff. I don't know, it's weird. Anyways, yeah, so I did watch a video from the Thrive program, and when I was watching it, like, I then built my kind of internal kind voice a bit more. So I was like, relax, Leona, it's okay, you're safe, you're at home, nothing's happening to you, like, just breathe and relax and watch this video, it's all okay. So I kind of like built that sort of language and then kind of relaxed a bit more, but the nervousness was still there. And then it was 4 o'clock, and I decided to ring them. And because I noticed I was like a bit nervous, and I was a bit afraid that because I'm nervous that I might lose my train of thought while I'm like calling with them. So that's why I wrote down some bullet points to like remember what to say to them. And then I called them, but it went like to voice message, or is that the term for it? Anyway, yeah, so I didn't actually reach them. I didn't talk to anyone. And then I called my sister Alana, and that like distracted me. That helped me kind of get out of the thoughts a bit more. And then after that, after the call with her, I then realized like I'm not nervous because I'm gonna call them, or because I might drive to them. I'm not nervous because my friend Mario is coming over this evening, so yesterday evening. I was like, I'm not nervous because of those things. I'm nervous because of my thoughts about those things. That really helped me as well to realize that like it has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that I'm going to call them, or that I might drive there, that my friend Mario's coming over later on. Has nothing to do whatsoever with that. It has only got to do with my thoughts. Because if I would have powerful, positive thoughts, I would not be nervous, and I would be absolutely calm while calling them, for example, or while driving there, or about the fact that my friend Mario is coming over. So I really then stopped blaming the outer circumstances and just looked inside myself, and I was like, it's my thoughts. So I was like seeing how calling people is not scary, meeting your friend is not scary, driving is not scary. It's my thoughts about it. So I really saw like those outer circumstances, they are not scary, you know? So then I felt much more powerful, and the second time I called them, I was not very nervous at all. Like, there was a tiny bit of nervousness still in me, but not much at all. And I called them, and then I left them a message because, again, no one picked up. Yeah, and then I was like, yeah, okay, I'll drive there next week, because I didn't feel like driving there anymore yesterday. Because that was also something I was telling myself, okay, like, I have to, or I should drive there. But then I was like, no, I don't. And it doesn't mean that I'm scared of driving there. No, it just means like right now I just don't feel like it, and I don't want to, but I'm telling myself I should. So I was like, no, you know what? I'm not going to drive there. And I called them already, and I can drive there next week and stuff like that. Like, I don't have to do anything. So yeah, and then I was proud of myself afterwards for having called them, and yeah, for having done that. And I'd say I was still like a small bit nervous for my friend Mario to come over, even though we've met so many times, and like there have been many times where I wasn't nervous to talk to him, or wasn't nervous to be around him at all. And like usually my anticipatory anxiety is stronger than when the actual situation is then happening. And that was the case again yesterday. Like my anticipatory anxiety was stronger compared to once he was actually there. After like 10 minutes, I would say I was like almost completely relaxed, and then I'd say after half an hour I was like very, very like myself and not doubting myself and not anxious or whatever. So before he came, say like 10 minutes before, I was quite nervous again, but like nothing that I couldn't handle. Like in that moment I knew I could handle it, and I also knew that even though I was nervous, I would still have a lovely evening, and I still wouldn't trade the evening for anything, you know. I still knew like we're gonna have a nice time together even when I'm nervous and stuff. So that was really nice to have that confidence in myself. And yeah, it felt good, because I just knew like I like being around him either way. And yeah, I was also like, if I feel like I'm not able to eat around him, then that's okay. Like, you know, that's just the way it is then. And yeah, and it doesn't mean that I'll never be able to eat around him and stuff. So I was kind of scared as well that I'll be so nervous that I won't be able to eat, or I'll be so nervous that my mind won't be clear, and then I won't really know what to talk about, or I'll lose my train of thought or stuff like that. I was kind of like nervous about, but I was like, usually, you know, with him all of that is not the case, and usually I'm completely fine. He then came over and we just hugged each other saying hello, and I would say I was still a small bit like nervous at that point, but like I said, after like 10 minutes it calmed down a lot more, because then we just like sat together on the couch, and he told me about some experiences he had in the past week that were like a bit nerve-wracking for him. So he was talking like most of the time for, I don't know how long we were sitting there, like maybe 20 minutes or half an hour even. Like, yeah, I think we might have talked for that long. And basically he was talking most of the time and I was just listening. But that was really nice. Like, I think that was a really nice way to slowly dive into the evening. And then once we had finished that chat, basically he asked if we wanted to start making dinner. And then once I got up from the couch and went to the kitchen, started dinner, like that's when I was really basically completely fine. And I didn't doubt myself while making dinner. I didn't beat myself up for anything. I wasn't being a perfectionist. I wasn't like, things need to be perfect or turn out really great. Like, I just wasn't thinking about it. I just did what I knew I had to do for that meal, you know, what I usually did to make that meal. And I just enjoyed being with him in the kitchen. I asked if we wanted to listen to some like German songs that me and my sisters like listening to, and we introduced him to some songs already, and I was like, should we just listen to them? So we put on music in the background, and there was like, I didn't feel any pressure to like make conversation, even though like it was really all relaxed. We both helped each other when cooking, obviously, and then we had small little giggles in between, some jokes, some chats, and I didn't at all feel awkward or in any way pressurized to be any certain way. Like, really, I was totally fine at that point. And then once we had everything prepared and we just needed to wait for the dinner to be ready, basically, we were both standing in the kitchen looking at each other, and then he looked at me and he was like, Leona, can I just give you a hug? And I was like, yeah, of course. So we hugged each other very tightly, and he said, I love you, and I said, I love you. And I was like, I actually wanted to give you a proper hug since the day that you were crying on the phone to me in Ireland. I don't know if I mentioned this in any video, but yeah, me and him had a chat where he was crying very hard on the phone because his dog is ill and could die any moment really, so he was talking about that a lot with me. And in Ireland, my heart was just bleeding for him, and I really wanted to hug him, and I was like, when I see him in Spain, I'm gonna give him a big hug. So in that moment I was like, I wanted to hug you properly since that day. And yeah, so then we hugged each other even more tight, and just, it was so special. It's so beautiful. I'm so freaking happy to have him in my life. And yeah, then we went back onto the couch and waited for the dinner to be ready. And see, the whole time I wasn't at all thinking about, will I be able to eat? How much am I gonna eat? Is it gonna be awkward? No, like, not at all. I didn't think about that at all. And that's why once the dinner was ready, I actually did eat a bit. And I was fine, like, oh my god. But anyway, we sat on the couch then. We had like a movie playing in the background, and we called Alana shortly, and I got him to read a German book because I wanted to just see how he like pronounces the stuff. So we had just had a bit of fun, and yeah, and then the dinner was ready, and we came up here onto the roof terrace, and we ate. Like, he ate way more than me, and he was done earlier than I was, and I ate a tiny bit. And I don't know, that's always been something about me. Like, I am a very slow eater, and even though my whole family really are slow eaters, but I am the slowest. I'm always the last one finished, even though I am also the one who eats the least. Like, it's so weird. But yeah, but like, I kind of then explained that a bit, and kind of how it's always kind of been like that, and I used to always be very like self-aware of that, and like a bit socially anxious to eat in front of people because of that. And then he just kind of assured me that I don't need to be nervous around him at all, that he's like not judging me, and it's all totally fine. So yeah, we had a few laughs and jokes then as well up here, and then we went back downstairs pretty quickly because it was like quite cool up here. It was like evening time, I think. Yeah, at around 9 p.m. we ate. And then downstairs we decided to watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but we kind of just had it in the background. We weren't really paying attention to it. Yeah, we called Alana again shortly then, and yeah, but just like, we didn't really talk much with her. We just kind of said hi, and that was it. And then yeah, we were sitting together on the couch again, and then at some point he kind of like leaned over to me, and he was like, Leona, I'm so happy to be here. And then I just gave him a hug, and I was like, oh, that's so cute, I'm so happy you're here and stuff. Like, I don't know, like, it's so beautiful. Like, we have so much love like between each other, and yeah, and I'm like, he said I'm one of his close friends. Like, he has me, and then this other girl who was his close friend for many years already, and he said he only has like one or two others really. But and that, like, I was always wondering, like, would he consider me one of his closer friends, or like, how does he see me? And then yesterday he was just kind of telling a story. He was like, yeah, I don't tell this to everyone, I just tell this to my close friends, and that's like you and her and then one or two others. And I was like, oh wow, that's nice to know that I'm one of your close friends. And he was like, yeah, of course. So yeah, but anyways, then on the couch, actually, I showed him some of the scenes I had written already. So I showed him like 2 shorter ones, and I basically read them aloud, and he listened. Like, this shows so much. First of all, the fact that I read in front of him, and I wasn't nervous to read, I wasn't doubting myself, I wasn't beating myself up if I made mistakes, which I didn't make many mistakes while reading. So like I wasn't at all doubting myself when like reading, you know, which is something I think a lot of people can relate to. Like reading in front of people can be like, or can seem intimidating, you know, but I wasn't nervous at all to read in front of him. And also it shows like how much trust I have in myself and in him to show him like my scenes that I wrote, that like from my own everything, like it's my own creation. I wrote that and it's about my own experiences, you know. So it just showed how much I trusted him and how close we are. And it showed how much I trusted in myself and my own abilities, that I wasn't like doubting myself or like, is this a good scene? Is this okay? Should I show him? Like, I don't know. Like, I wasn't scared of being judged because I was just proud of my own work. Like, I wasn't like, oh, is he gonna judge me? Like, that's so weird. What if he doesn't think it's good or whatever? No, I was just like happy to share my work with someone and to show him like what I was passionate about for such a long time in my life. And yeah, like it was so nice. And like he was just very like quiet and just listening and basically just complimented me as well and said that it's really nice. And he was in between like so like shocked that the experiences I was writing about, that they actually happened. I was like, yeah, they happened, that was my life. He was like, what? But anyway, that was a very special moment. Like he sent me a voicemail as well afterwards when he was home already, saying like he really loved that moment where I showed him my work and he thought it was very special. And I would say like, even though our couch is very small, so we were sitting close together anyway, I was still like closer to him because I wanted to be. But not like in a really obvious way. I wasn't like super on his side of the couch, but like for my likings I was closer to him. So that was very nice. And then also we came kind of onto the topic of like sex as well, because and it wasn't like the typical like teenagers talking about sex or whatever. No, it wasn't like cringy or like weird, but it's just something, you know, it's a really complex topic for me especially. And yeah, there's so many different things that in relation to sex and stuff like that in my mind. And I don't know, like it's been a long journey, I would say. But what we talked about is basically I told him my like deepest, darkest secret, or like what I was most ashamed of, which most people are going to be like, that is not bad whatsoever. And compared to the stories that he told me about some people that he knew or whatever, mine is like the most innocent thing. But I was like 13 at that point, and like since then nothing else happened in my like sex life. But like until I was now like 18 or 19 years old, I was like so ashamed of that, and I never told anyone that experience, because I was like, no, what are people gonna think of me? Like, that's so bad, that's so embarrassing, like I shouldn't have done that, why did I do that? I always beat myself up, I totally criticized myself. Through that I created a big chunk of my depression. Through that I created the uncomfortable feeling, because I tried to then control myself to never do that again. I was so scared, like if my parents were to ever find out, what are they going to think of me? Will they ever be able to look at me properly again? Like if they find out, I won't be able to look at them anymore, like it's so bad and stuff like that. And then I only ever told one therapist, and I remember it was quite hard for me to tell her, but it was easier to tell her than anyone I really knew personally. I never told anyone else ever, and I always like tried to like push away that memory and try to never face it. And then I'd say when I was like 16, 17, I was able to admit to myself, yeah, I did that and I feel like it was wrong and I wouldn't do it again. Then when I was like 18 and now 19, especially since I worked on the Thrive program, I'm much more like, I just completely catastrophized it, and my social anxiety was really high, my self-esteem was really low. So that's what made the situation seem really bad, even though in reality it's not even that bad. And as teenagers, you just have certain desires and you want to try out certain things and you have different interests, and then you figure out then what you feel comfortable with and what you don't. But for so many years, I just couldn't accept that. I just thought it made me a horrible person. And to me, that was always, when people ask me what's like your darkest secret or what's the worst thing you did in your life, I always thought of that situation. Yeah, that just shows me how intensely like self-critical I am, or was I have to say, because then about just 2 weeks ago, I'd say, I told Alana this story. So my youngest sister, she's 15, and I had never told anyone else this before, like I said, especially no one who like knew me. But I actually wasn't so ashamed of that anymore, and I didn't beat myself up for it, and I didn't catastrophize it saying like, oh my god, it's the worst thing ever, like how the hell could you do that? No, like, and I wasn't afraid of like her judgments, because I didn't judge myself anymore so hard for it. So like I told her, and her reaction was like, Leona, that's not even bad. So like I was like, okay, oh my god, like how easy like for you to just say it, and then for me to realize, okay, yeah, maybe it really wasn't that bad. Like, it's just, I never got someone else's perspective on it. I always just believed my own thoughts, and I could never get someone else's perspective on it or opinion of it, because I thought for sure they would see it the way I would, and I was way too ashamed. So I was like, I can't tell anyone. Like, I was so embarrassed and I felt so uncomfortable. But now it's like, it's not even that bad. Yeah, so it just shows a lot, the fact that I told Mario then yesterday as well, like, and I didn't feel nervous, I didn't feel ashamed, I didn't beat myself up. It was kind of just like funny and like really not bad at all, and it just shows how much I really trust him and how close we are, and I love the friendship we've built. And I always wanted a friend like that, who's so close and I can just talk to about everything I want to, and my deepest secrets, and the shame I feel or felt, and things I've been struggling with. And I just, oh my god, I loved it. And I loved myself. It's not the fact that he's that sort of person that I can talk to about that, because even if he would have been in my life, let's say when I was 15 or 16, and he would have been already the way he is now, like someone I can trust and someone I can be open with, I wouldn't have told him when I was 15 or 16, because I beat myself up and I was so ashamed of myself. And so it shows my growth and how strong I am now, and how much I changed and grew and learned, and how I'm so much kinder to myself. And wow, like, it shows a lot. It really shows a lot. Yeah, and then he like said he was gonna leave, and then I got really sad, because he kind of does that very suddenly. Like, we then kind of focused on the movie a bit more, but then after like 2 minutes he was like, okay, I think I'm gonna go. It's like he doesn't give me any warning. He's just like, okay, I'm gonna leave. Like, okay. We were like in the middle of watching a movie, like, but then like he kind of, so at first I was like looking sad, and I was like, no, I don't want you to leave. So then he actually did stay a bit longer, but then again he said, okay, I'm gonna leave. And then he like went to put on his shoes, so he was still sitting on the couch and went to put on his shoes. And then I kind of like stroked his back. Like first I just wanted to do it for like a few seconds as like a joke or whatever, but then he just stayed there the whole time and he was like resting his head on his hands then, and I just continued, and I don't know for how long. It felt like a long time, but maybe for like 5 minutes I like continued just stroking him, and he was just like not saying a word, and he just was so like relaxing, and I loved that for myself as well, that I got to be like closer with someone physically as well, and I was proud of myself that I gave that like physical connection to myself as well, which I'm kind of more interested in currently, or more like longing for, I guess, currently. So that was like really nice, and I just really enjoyed that moment, and it just made me realize how much I wish there was more between us than there is. Like yeah, I think that was the moment I really realized I wish so much that there was more between us. And I was like, it would be so lovely, like I can imagine us being together, and I know it would be so lovely. But yeah, anyway, he then got up and we hugged each other saying goodbye, and I was just like, oh, I really don't want you to go, and like I'm gonna be so sad, like, yeah. And then he said, no, but if you're sad, then I'm not gonna come over anymore. I don't want you to be sad when I leave. And I said, no, like that would be way worse if you would not come over at all anymore. No. So I was like, no, please, no, don't say that. I was like, yeah, I'll be fine, it's okay, I can just be sad. So then we hugged each other again, and then I brought him to the door, and he said, I love you, and then I said, I love you, and then he left. And then I closed the door and I cried. It's not actually funny, like, but laughing about it just helps deal with it sometimes as well. But yeah, I just cried, and I was just so sad that there was not more between us. And that was really like the first time I really felt that, like, I don't know, longing, or like that wish that there was more between us. Like that's the first time it was this strong, that I like really knew, like, I really want something more to be between us. And it was hard, honestly, to like, I think it was the first time I don't know how to say this, like I wasn't struggling with the pain I was feeling there, but I think it was the first time, I don't know if it felt this way, like it was the first time it felt this way. Yeah, and I think because I was obviously longing or wishing for something that I couldn't have, that was obviously painful. And I still knew, like, yeah, I would be fine at some point and stuff like that, and I just was gentle to myself. I was like, just cry, just feel it, like, just, you're allowed to wish that there was more, you're allowed to feel that longing, you're allowed to be upset about this. But then as well, there was some like really catastrophic, weird, scary thoughts in my mind. For example, I was like, yeah, maybe because, you know, this is so sad, and maybe at some point I won't be able to handle my emotions anymore, and like I'll just fall depressed and then commit suicide. And then I was like looking at that thought, I was like, what the hell, what is going on? I was like, what? But like my mind was like obviously really catastrophizing, and instead of being like, yeah, you know, it is really upset, and I really do wish there was something more, and it's okay, I can be upset right now, I can feel hurt, like that's all okay. Instead of being like that, even though I was also talking like that to myself, a part of my mind was like, yeah, you're gonna fall depressed because of this, because it's so sad, and then you're gonna commit suicide. So you know, at some point maybe one of these YouTube videos you make is gonna be the last one, because you'll just be dead. Like, what? And then another thought was like, yeah, maybe you won't find someone like him, like, you know, maybe you won't find a partner that you'll really love and stuff. And then I just reminded myself, excuse me, yes, there's absolutely someone out there who I'm going to love and who's going to love me, and we will spend our lives together. Like, I know that there is that person out there. And first I want to, like I said in one of my previous videos, first I want to build a base for myself, to love myself, be okay with myself, and enjoy my life without needing someone else in my life to enjoy it. So I was then reminding my thoughts, like, yeah, right now obviously I don't have anyone else I'm interested in, and right now I want him, and so yeah, that's okay. So you know, but that doesn't mean that's the end game, like there's only him and no one else, like, no. But those thoughts, like, were so weird because I didn't create them before. I wasn't this catastrophic about it before, but yeah, then I was. But yeah, today I also realized that if he would like me, for example, I'm imagining how, like, he says to me that he does like me, and then we go out and we're like in a relationship, and I imagine how, like, I feel happy and good. And then, but today I realized, look, I wouldn't be feeling happy and good because we're in a relationship. It would be because of my thoughts, because then I would be like focusing on the things I love, and I would be enjoying what I have, and I would be happy with myself, and I would be proud of myself, and I would be happy for myself. So I would be feeling good because of those thoughts, and I can do that right now. I can right now focus on the things I love, the things I appreciate. I can be proud of myself. I can love myself, you know, like, yeah. And the thing is, I actually, a part of me doesn't want him to like me back, because I want to build that base for myself first, so that I don't feel like I need anyone else to be happy. I want to know that I can give myself that. And then another part of me doesn't believe I can give myself that, but I know I can, because I lived like that before, where I felt like I didn't need anything else to be happy. So I know that's absolutely possible, and I know also no one else can make you happy. Again, it's your own thoughts at that point then that are making you feel happy. So yeah, it's so weird. But anyway, yesterday when he left, like I said, I was very sad, and in the shower as well, I was sad. And then when I went to bed, I was really sad. I cried, and I covered my face with my hands, and I just laid in bed, and I was just like there, you know, that sort of feeling where there's just nothing else right now. It's just, I'm there in that moment, and it's just me in that moment. You know what I mean? Like, I was just crying, and I was just so upset that there wasn't more between us. But him and I sent one voicemail each, I think, over and back. And I just thanked him for coming over, and I said I had such a lovely time, which I did. And I just said again, like, please don't distance yourself from me. Like, if I feel like I need some distance, I will let you know, but please let me decide that. Like, let me decide for myself what I want and I need, and stuff like that. And yeah, he just sent a voicemail back as well, saying he had a lovely time, and I'm such a funny person, and he really, yeah, loved being around me, and he loved that moment where I read out my scenes to him and stuff. This morning, yeah, I'm feeling okay because I'm taking care of myself, because today I decided to really do whatever I want to do, and if that means watching movies on the couch all day, I'm gonna do that. I was really like, I'm just taking care of myself because I want to get myself back on track. I don't want to fall depressed, and in order to not fall depressed, I need to take care of myself. So today I was like, I'm taking care of myself, I'm being kind to myself, I'm being there for myself. And yeah, I cried this morning again, because of this, and because this morning I still felt a bit more like hopeless. Now I feel much better because I made this video as well. And once I then reflected on yesterday evening in a positive way instead of in a sad way, because yesterday evening, like after he left, I reflected on that evening in a sad way because I was like, there's not more between us and I wish there was. But then today I reflected on it in a really good way, like I did now in this video, like seeing the difference in me, seeing how proud I can be of myself, how different I am, how I wasn't nervous, how I really enjoyed it, how I have an amazing friend, and also like how proud I can be of myself because I have reached out to like a few new-ish people and asked them if they wanted to meet up with me in the next while, and almost all of them came back already saying yeah, they would either meet up with me or have a call with me. So my friend from Germany, I'm calling her tomorrow. Then I have a friend in Ireland who I'm going to call next week Friday. I have another friend of Mario's who I met 2 or 3 times already, and I'm meeting her on Tuesday because I'd like to get to know her better, and I felt very good around her and I liked her. I'm meeting Mario's sister next weekend, who is also such a sweet person, and I'd love to get to know her better. And I just love to surround myself with nice people like him, you know. I'd love to have more friends and more people around me that I can be with. And then there's also Mom is teaching another guy German. Mom is teaching Mario German and another guy, and that guy is Mario's sister's friend, for example, as well. And he's always like really open to meeting new people. So I suggested to Mom that she could suggest to him that like him and I could meet up sometime or something. So I'm gonna text him either today or tomorrow sometime and see if he wants to meet up with me too. You know, so there's so many different people that are suddenly like popping up in my life, and suddenly like friends or like possibilities of friendships, and that is so amazing and so new. And I'm so proud of myself for being at that stage where I'm ready to meet new people and where I can see the good in people again, and I'm not just afraid. Yeah, I'm so happy that I'm taking this step and wanting to surround myself with more nice people as well. So I'm doing something about it, you know, instead of just being like, oh, there's no one or whatever. No, I'm trying, you know, I'm putting in the effort, and that's so amazing. And I texted my brother who lives in Benidorm as well if he wants to meet up with me in a beach that's near Benidorm, but so that I don't have to drive into that crazy city. So him and I and his girlfriend are probably going to meet up as well in the next few days. So like there's so many nice things, and and I'm going to try again more and more to be kind to myself about the whole writing thing. And when I'm nervous to meet new people, I want to be understanding with myself, because it is completely understandable why I would be nervous. I had that belief for so many years that people are horrible and it's scary, and I can't trust them, and I can't be myself around them, and there's barely any good people out there, and I always felt judged, and I never felt like I could be myself around people. So all those beliefs obviously, you know, would create anxiety in me. So that's okay, but now I'm showing myself there is good people out there too. And and this morning, like I said, I was taking care of myself, and I still am, but this morning I laid on the couch and watched the movie The Last Song with Miley Cyrus and Liam Hemsworth, and that was actually such a sweet movie. And I think for like the last at least 10-15 minutes I was bawling my eyes out. But it was so like beautiful, like it was a beautiful crying. And you know, it can be hard sometimes. But again, I know as well, like I said, when you're in that blip, you don't see reality. You just don't. You have lost perspective already. Yeah, and then I looked through my camera roll as well at my like favorite memories, and looking at that really helped me as well to regain some perspective and feel much better, because I then obviously looked at my favorite memories where I was like happy and strong and having fun and being myself and like laughing and just feeling powerful and, you know, having a smile on my face, like, and not worrying and being kind to myself. So like that really helped me as well. And yeah, making this video for sure helped me to regain a lot of perspective as well, and not feel like things are hopeless and I'm gonna fall depressed and commit suicide and this is really bad. No, to see it in a different way, but still I want to still be gentle and kind to myself. Like I said, I'm still in that week of like really focusing on my language, and I think I'm going to continue it, but it's a week of like intense focus on it because I want to change my language. I don't want to be so catastrophic anymore, because see where that brings me. It just brings me to feeling afraid and feeling out of control. So no, I'm going to keep going and being gentle and kind to myself. That's really what gets me through everything. That's what helps me cope with things. Like, I think that's the best coping mechanism a person can have, is being kind and gentle and understanding with yourself. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you could learn from this and this could help you the way it did help me. And I learned a lot, and I know I can be so proud of myself. And you know, right now it's okay for me to be afraid. It's okay for me to be sad. It's okay. You know, I'm just gonna step by step keep going. Yeah, thank you very much.